description based on the experiences that these ladies and myself had at the Summer Institute in New York with the Lucy Hopkins Teachers College. So that is what we are bringing you today. All right, I pulled a couple quotes just because I like quotes. I think they kind of help set the stage. Reading aloud to children every day is one of the most important things any teacher can do to help children grow and become better readers, better thinkers, and frankly, better human beings. And I know y'all know that I'm like obsessed with books and reading, and I know that you all are using books and reading lots and lots and lots to your kiddos in your classroom. So what we hope to do today is just give you some maybe new ideas, maybe old ideas that you had forgotten, but some ways to enhance what you're already doing with Read Alouds in your classroom. And then I like that last one. And it talks about books acting as windows and mirrors, because through books, kids can go on adventures, they can see themselves as if they were looking in a mirror. Hopefully, if we are exposing them to enough different kinds of books where they're able to see themselves, but then they can also act as windows where students can learn how to express empathy towards others, and through books where they're not seeing themselves in a mirror, but someone else's life. And then I love that one about the sliding doors, so that it allows them an opportunity to walk through and experience someone else's stories. Okay. So Read Alouds can be game changers. And this came from Mem Fox, which I'll be honest, I don't really know who she was, but she was in, Lester Lemonette? Lemonette. He did a whole, professional learning book on Read Alouds. And so this quote came from that. From my own experience, I realized that the literature I heard rather than read as a child resonated again and again in my memory whenever I sit down to write. So with that, we are going to talk about our own reading life timeline. And what I mean by this is actually an activity that we did at the Summer Institute. Some of us were able to participate in this, and what our instructors did was asked us to really sit and reflect on some of the earliest memory you can think of being read to, being read aloud, being read a book to. And it could be, I'll share mine with you in a second, but it could be is like before school, as at home with a parent or a grandparent, maybe an older sibling being read to. And then of course through school, jog your memory, think way back for me, way back of being read to at school. And what are some of the books that pop in my mind, and then what are some of the feelings and memories that come with that, even through middle school, high school, into college, and then now even as an adult, because I think that's what we're trying to do for students, is create those experiences and memories for them. So I'm going to show you my reading life timeline. This will probably age me. I did it on InterChart, but I'm going to actually ask you, to do one in a minute. If somebody wants to hand out the paper, I'm going to have y'all sketch your own reading life timeline. I think your students would be interested into seeing what kind of books you read as children growing up, what stood out to you, what kind of memories, and maybe you don't have any. Maybe you just don't have a lot, and I think that's okay too, because the whole point is to reflect back on what we're trying to do with children. So I'll share mine with you. Growing up, I put that my mom but we were part of the Dr. Seuss book club. Is anybody part of that? You got a book every month? Oh, yes. Then I did the Mickey Mouse one, the Disney one for my children. I think I also did the, what's the golden one with the little golden book?
But we did like the presidents too. Did you do the presidents?
I did not do
that. Yeah, we did that.
Sorry, did not do that. But that's some of my first memories of books. Then I remember reading Ramona books growing up. That was one of our read alouds at night. And then in elementary school, these are some of my absolute favorite books that I now have classic editions of. They were my favorite reading in elementary school. The Secret Garden, Anna Green Gables, and Little Women. And I don't know, does anybody like Anna Green Gables? Anybody remember reading Anna Green Gables? My favorite. There's a graphic novel to John Lewis. There's a graphic novel of Anna Green Gables. I I loved it. There's also a show on Netflix. I love him. And then in college, I didn't have as many. Like I tried to have them. Well, somebody make it go back. But I didn't have a whole lot. I had Night by Eli Wiesel, I think is his name. He died a couple years ago. The Education of Little Tree. And then I got stuck and I couldn't think of any more, and I'm not really sure what that says about my reading in college besides textbooks. Although I will say, my freshman year is what I remember. I went to Mercer, and we were in a cohort, and I remember having a book club with that cohort where we would have to read these books, and then we'd come and literally sit in like a literature circle, and our professor, his name was Papa Joe, because he was, he was a nice, sweet old man, and he would lead us through discussion. So I remember that in college. And then my next phase on my reading life timeline is as a parent. Some of the books that I read over and over and over to my boys. Goodnight Gorilla, Pat the Bunny, Goodnight Moon. I mean, I can probably recite those for you right now from memory because we read them so much. They sat next to the rocking chair and we read every night. That was part of our routine. And then as a professional, as an adult, some of the ones that I read. Some of them are professional books, Game Changer, A Novel Approach by Kate Roberts. And then a lot of them are just children's books that I've read, just some of the ones that popped off the top of my head. Love by Matt De La Pena, The One and Only Ivan. Wish that I'm reading now for the book club, the district book club that we're doing. Front Desk, that's a fairly new one. New Kid is a fairly new one. It's a graphic novel of a middle schooler. And Chalk, that's actually a wordless book. So, those are all the books that popped in my mind when I started thinking about my reading life timeline. So I'm going to ask you, just take a few minutes, doesn't have to be fancy. I know mine's on chart paper, but I share that with students. And sketch one out, and just think back to some of your earliest memories of books. Yes?
Read aloud.
Being read aloud too, or like these were books that I read.
Okay.
So just memories from books in general. But in the beginning, when I was a non-reader, these are read aloud.
Right, yeah. I just didn't know if they were.
And then these are read aloud. But yes, they don't have to be just read aloud now.